Hello and welcome to Pi News, a weekly roundup of news stories at UCL and beyond. Here are the stories for this week. Students voted to support future strikes in the SU referendum with record turnout. Between the 21st and the 26th of January, students virtually cast their ballots in a historic referendum to decide whether or not the UCL Student Union would support further UCU strikes. Out of the 5,116 students who voted, 60% supported future strikes, but nearly 40% opposed them. This was the largest ever turnout for a Student Union referendum. The concerns of the UCU can be summed up by the Four Fights platform, which calls for an increase in pay, mitigating a sometimes excessive workload, auditing educators' pay to ensure there is no racial or gender pay gap, and improving conditions for postgraduate teaching assistants. The strikes in the autumn term were not supported by the Student Union, sparking outrage by many students who regarded that decision as undemocratic. In this highly publicised referendum, the yes and no campaigns made their best arguments in an attempt to persuade students to vote with them. The Yes campaign argued that the well-being of our tutors and professors is directly tied to the well-being of students. Supporting the strikes would only be a minor inconvenience for students whose quality of education would increase if the UCU demands were met and educators were treated better. The No campaign argued that the UCU was unfairly using students' education as leverage in negotiation with the administration. Additional strikes after 2 years of educational disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic would have detrimental impacts on students. The Yes campaign's success means that the Student Union will officially support further strikes in terms 2 and 3. Mask mandatory as government guidelines loosen. Last week, on the 27th of January, England returned to the government's Plan A for dealing with COVID-19, meaning that all measures under Plan B have been lifted. This return to Plan A will mean that mandatory COVID-19 certification will end, although venues may still choose to use the NHS COVID Pass voluntarily. Face coverings will also no longer be required by law in indoors venues. Yet, UCL has announced that they will continue to keep face coverings mandatory in all indoor settings on campus. This decision has sparked discussion among students with a range of views on the matter being held. Our reporter went around campus and asked students about their views on UCL's mask policy.
Hi, my name is Carl. I don't particularly wear a mask because I think it's a pain. It actually it fogs my glasses and I think it's very annoying. And I think it should be people's choice to wear a mask or not, because we've been in a pandemic for God knows how long now, and it's become to the point that it's not a pandemic anymore, it's just reality, so I don't wear a mask for that reason.
Even though the UK government has decided not to require, the masks indoors, still the numbers are really high, and it is important to protect ourselves and others. And I think it's the least that you can do is to protect each other.
I'm happy for them to still keep it mandatory for face masks to be worn inside. Outside I don't think it's necessary because we're in such open space.
Mandated face masks is probably a good thing, only because I guess I have care to professors or tutors.
I'm a student from MA Comparative Literature, and basically as everybody else who study here, we're totally occupied with our essays, with our dues. So to be honest, I didn't really pay that much attention to the policies, to the requirements by either the government or the university. But as you regarded, I personally prefer to wear a mask.
I feel like UCL has been quite good at kind of following the government's advice throughout the pandemic.
I also feel like this is ongoing, and for the government to keep on changing it is just a bit confusing, or I feel a bit confused, so I'd rather just have it and keep going with wearing it than to constantly change what's going on.
Met Police begin investigation of Partygate. Since November, there have been weekly revelations about number 10's breaches of COVID-19 lockdown rules. The first mentions of scandal came on the 30th of November, when the Daily Mirror reported Downing Street gatherings. This was confirmed when ITV leaked a video of Allegra Stratton holding a mock press conference in December 2020, where she giggled about a Christmas party that happened 4 days earlier.
I've seen reports on Twitter that there was a Downing Street Christmas party on Friday night. Do you recognise those reports?
I went home. Hold on.
Since then, the allegations have become significantly more severe. Most recently, on the 24th of January, it was revealed that the Prime Minister's then fiancée Carrie Symonds seemed to have organised a birthday party for him in June 2020. After facing heavy criticism for not investigating these claims, the Met Police Commissioner, Cressida Dick, announced on the 25th of January she would be launching an official investigation into Partygate.
I can confirm that the Met is now investigating a number of events that took place at Downing Street and Whitehall in the last 2 years.
That's all from Pi News. Thank you for watching.